exciting. Okay, thank you everyone for being here. My name is Jordan Gentry Nelson. I am the Director of Programming here at Big Media if you don't know me. Again, I appreciate all of you being here since we have a larger group. Again, if you could introduce yourself in the chat, that would be great. And feel free to use the chat throughout the workshop, as Natalia was talking about, to ask questions, and we can address those at the end. We can try to have you chime in throughout if it's like a really relevant question, but I think it'd be nice if people can ask their own questions via video at the end. So welcome to Live Streaming for Artists with Natalia Rocafuerte. This is a program of Creative Standard, which if you're not familiar with, is the professional development wing of Big Medium. And through workshops like this, as well as regular coffee chats with leaders in the community, our goal is to fortify and promote the creative, professional, and economic success of local artists. And the thought really behind bringing this workshop to artists right now is that we're all being confronted with the need to learn new technologies, and some of us are exploring live streaming for the first time as a way to present art virtually. So we're really grateful to have Natalia here with us to lead this workshop. And she's bringing us this free source software called OBS, which I actually wasn't familiar with, to guide us in creating successful and unique live streams. So to give a little bit of intro for Natalia, she is a new media artist, filmmaker, community organizer, creating work on perception, analog technology, and spatial identity. She also works as a professional live streaming technician, which is amazing. So thank you so much for being here, Natalia. Oh wait, I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
I just switched it to this microphone because I thought it would be more HD, but I'm just gonna go with the regular Mac. Can you hear me well?
That's better, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yes, OBS, there's lots of ways to stream, but OBS I have found that works for what I'm doing, and it's free, and there's a lot of really cool plugins for it. So yeah, even before you start your broadcast, I came and sat at the area in my house that has the strongest Wi-Fi. I made sure, you know, there wasn't like Netflix streaming. I shut down maybe like Adobe suites that I have on my computer to make sure I have CPU for it. So if you're gonna want to have a quality live stream, you're gonna just wanna make sure you're dedicating some internet bandwidth to it. That's something I just like to point out. It's very easy, but you know, before you start, just make sure you, yeah, you kind of go over those steps. Cool, I'm seeing so many people in the chat. Hello everyone in the chat. I'm so excited to see you. I'm going to share my screen now so we can get started. If you haven't downloaded OBS, no worries. If you have, this is a great way for you to just kind of hear me, see me, and tinker with it yourself. So let me share my screen. Okay, cool. And, oh wait, before I share my screen, I'm going to actually send everyone a little slideshow that has some notes of what I'm talking about. Let me make sure I share it so you guys can't edit it. Here we go. It looks right. Okay, so you should be able to look. If it doesn't populate or something for you, let me know. But
so that I believe that just went to me privately, Natalia. Can you send that to everyone?
There we go. There we go.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay, great.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna share my screen. So awesome. Okay. So this is OBS. When you arrive at the program, it might look something like this. I would say the first thing I like to do is click this studio mode. This just kind of lets you know what your actual like draft is versus what it's coming out to. And then I'm going to first go to my preferences. As you can see in the slideshow, y'all, kind of goes in a run through of where you can find OBS, what it is, and some numbers, some cheat codes. If you're not super familiar with video resolutions or anything like that, it has a lot of already preset resolutions, so you don't have to worry too much about it. So with general, unless you're doing something very specific, the preset recording and streaming keys are pretty good. Here we have our stream key. This is where you would be going in and putting in your stream key from Facebook or Instagram or Twitch. I'll go over that, but just letting you familiarize yourself with this window. And then we have like our preset web place streamers. Though, as you can see, we don't have Instagram and we don't have several other platforms. And some social media platforms like Instagram actually don't want people to use computer-sourced streaming. But tonight, we're gonna learn how to hack that and how to get a pretty decent stream even though Instagram doesn't want you to use your computer. Cool. And so our output, generally, your bit rate, you don't want to go, I think in the key I put in, you don't want to go below, let me see where my key is. Yeah, you don't want to go below 128. So I have it at 160. Versus like what you're doing if you're a sound artist, 160 would be great. If you're focusing on video or you have a pre-recorded track, you can go down a little just to save yourself some CPU. So I might go to 144. Audio settings. For audio settings, as you can see, I have everything disabled. This would be a good way to kind of start with things because these are all the microphone and tracks that you have on OBS. So it allows you to have, let's say if I want to have a microphone track and I want to have music and I want to be capturing audio from a Zoom call. There's all these tracks, right? So generally what I do is I disable everything and then you build back up because OBS is a broadcasting software. It's actually not super easy to hear what the output is gonna sound like. It's easier to see it. And I'll go over that. So cool. Then we're going to go to the video. This is where you probably will mess with stuff. So we have a 16:9 ratio. What that means is like a computer screen, and that works for what we're doing. The only thing I really would point out here is you want these two to match to have the best resolution. So unless you're doing like an HD stream and you want it to be super big, then you would go up here. 1920 by 1080 is pretty great, so I usually keep it around there. Your frames per second, that's FPS, just keep it at 30. You really don't have to mess with this. I just kind of want to let you know what this is. The one area that you would probably mess in with your preferences, if you're a beginner or you're just kind of getting your feet in this, would probably be the video area. And that's just to ensure you don't have like buffering and you have a clean feed. So we have hotkeys, no hotkeys for today. If you want to learn how to do some hotkeys, there's so many YouTube videos. Advanced keys, I can go over some of these later on. So we have our preferences set. Now, let's say I like to get my scene started before I even start streaming or doing anything, you know. So here on this area, this would be kind of like our canvas or our materials box. And this would be our canvas. So this is called a scene, and we can add several other scenes. That way, if you want to go from one view to another, we can do multiple views. That's easier viewed than said. So let's just get to it. So to add sources, you can click on this button, and let's say I just want to do a like screening of my face, and I want to have like a Vimeo text here or Venmo text because I want people to tip me and I want the audio come in. Or, you know, I'm also going to show you how to just have like a video come in as well. So I'm opening my other camera I have here, and we're going to put in another camera. Oh, here we go. Here's another camera. This is actually my iPhone. So I have my iPhone here, and let's say, okay, this looks good. And let's say I don't like how big it is. You know, maybe I want it to be a little smaller. Then I'll just kind of put it like this. And then let's see, I want to add, let's say I just want to add an image, right? Just to set the kind of scene. Then I'm going to browse. And now hopefully, now connecting your computer to OBS can cause a little bit of a lag. But once you kind of get that connection going, it'll be pretty set. I don't know if you've used Photoshop or anything like that where you're using a pretty high CPU software into like all the stuff you have in your computer. I find that after I load something in once, it kind of just loads in on time. So I'm getting this little bubble. Here, let me see if I can make sure I'm seeing. Here we go. So I downloaded the OBS update for y'all just because I had an older version, so that might have lagged it a little. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my desktop. Okay, yes. This is exactly what you'll be going through. You'll have to say yes and okay and all this. So I can put in a GIF or I can put in a photo. I'm just gonna put in a photo. Let's say I just want a backdrop. Okay, cool. And so my photo is really big, it's high resolution, but I show you how to resize it. And oh no, it covered my camera, but this kind of works in the same as like a layers. So there we go, I'm right here. And just like with photos in other softwares, you can adjust it by dragging the corners. And so cool, I have my little eyeball here. And once I have, you know, kind of like what this looks like, I'm going to click this little lock here. And you can actually also, I can rename my stuff. So let's say eyeball, and I want to name this, well, yeah, I'm going to put a color blue in case I use other cameras, I can know which camera I'm pointing at, right? So I'm going to lock this too because I like how it's looking. Okay, so let me make sure. You guys don't have any questions? Do you have to use the broadcasting before you can enter more sources? Do you have to be broadcasting before you enter more sources? So we're not broadcasting right now at all. This is, so the black screen, even if I click over here and we see this, it's not broadcasting. Whenever you click start streaming, that's when we start broadcasting. So I like to just kind of prepare before I even click the live button. If you like to live on the edge, go ahead and start broadcasting right away. Though there's a couple steps before you do that, so I can show you what that is. So this camera looks a little frozen, but it's working. As you can see on my right side, this is what is going to be streaming. So let's say now I want to add some text. I want people to be able to, know what's my website and what's my Instagram, right? So I'm just going to, I don't know if I went over this, I'm going to click this button and I'm going to click text, free type, and I'm going to say this is going to be my website text, right? Okay, cool. So I'm going to put in my website text and I like to select a font. So I have like a cool like VCR font here. Nice, I like that. It's not obvious right away when you open the software, but there's a little bar here and there's actually more preferences down here. So let's say I want to do like I'm going to go all out in this text. You don't have to do this, of course, but I want to show you what's the best this software can do too, like what we can do. Look at that, we have a little nice gradient. I'm going to put in a drop shadow too. And yeah, I'm liking the way this looks. Let me see my font. Let me lower the font size. Oh, that's too small. Let's do something like a 96. Either way, you can always drag the corners, and there we go. I like what that's looking like. So I'm going to lock it. Now, as you can see, I had clicked the text button before, and it looks like it made a duplicate. You can just click this minus button, and it gets rid of that duplicate. So we're adding in and taking stuff out. Now, let me see if you guys have any questions. Okay, cool. So we're doing good. Let's see. So let's say I'm going to transition to see what it would look like broadcasted. I love that. Looks great. Then let's I'm going to go a little crazy. Let's add more stuff, right? Because it has a pretty good bandwidth. So let's see how much we can get away with, right? I'm going to add what is called a media source. Now, this can include GIFs, and remember here we have our little bar, so there's more options, right? There's like the speed if we want to slow down a video. Loop is a good, it's something you have to click if you have a ever-going video, right? And cool, okay, let's add another, oh cool, I have this hand animation I'd like to show y'all. Okay, so I imported it, but we don't see it yet, right? So sometimes when that happens, just gotta click transition, and it'll be right here. And so cool, I have this rotating green hand. Would be great if it didn't have a background, right? So let's delve a little into the features that we have on OBS. And now I'm just going over visual stuff in a minute, over audio items, since they're two kind of separate functions right here. But let's get into this. So I have my media source. I'm going to rename it hand, just in case I have more media sources. I can make sure I don't confuse it. So now I got hand. I'm going to right-click it. And once I right-click it, I'm going to click filters. So we got this filters box open. Kind of doesn't look special, but let's click on this plus button, right? And we have all these other ones, right? We have sharpen, let's say you have a blurry photo. Scroll, I'll show you what that's all about. We have these other ones. Crop is a pretty important one. These are kind of more specific to other video stuff you might be doing. And I encourage you to play around with it. Today we're going to be messing around with what's called chroma key. So here we go. We're going to chroma key our hand. And here we go. So as a slider, you can see it detects all the green items. It has some preset colors. So let's say you have something with blue, or you have something that has a black background. You can definitely mess around with that. So, okay, that looks pretty good to me. There's a little green in there. You know, if you go too far, it kind of disappears altogether. There we go. I like this hand. And let's put it like right here. Awesome, and I'm gonna lock it, and yeah, I got my hand and my video, and let's do one more thing. Let's say I kind of want to add some pizzazz to this text, right? So I'm gonna double click my text. Let's say I want to add and then I want to add also like Venmo, blah blah. Right, whatever your Venmo is. But it's a little awkward and long. So what we can do is we can click on our filters, right? Right click filter. And then we're going to add scroll, right? And so yeah, then we got like a horizontal scroll right there. The more you move it, the faster it goes, as you can see on this side, on my left side, and then we can also do it to the other side. I like a slow scroll. Now you can also mess with the vertical if you want to do something wild. I want to do something like this. Okay. And we have, make sure loop is checked. Cool. And cool. So that's what my visuals look like. See, any questions? Broadcasting, losing audio, now it's back. Put questions.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can you see the Q&A, Natalia? We did have one question from Paul.
Oh yeah, of course.
So he's asking, why am I not seeing my Black Magic device, the Atom Mini Pro? Which
are you inputting a live camera feed, Paul? So if you're putting in a video capture device, you would click video capture, right? Let's say I have a video synthesizer. Okay, so let's try video capture device, and I would suspect that there's probably a plugin you probably have to download from the internet from Blackmagic. I had like this camera, I had to do it for my video capture card, which here we have my synthesizer, right? So you might have to download a plugin for OBS because Blackmagic should already be able to be captured, but I'm not familiar with Blackmagic Capture, but it's a video source, so it just takes a plugin device. So OBS can recognize it because it's a broadcasting software, but it's open to any other. Okay, cool, it works. Great. So continuing on the video aspect, right? This frozen feed of me is kind of hilarious. Okay. So and then I have like this, you know, I have my video synthesizer, I'm like, right, Venmo. Okay, cool. But I'm still not ready to go on live, right? And as some of you might have seen on my slideshow, if maybe something's glitching out on OBS, you have to have things plugged in before even you open OBS. Welcome to live streaming. It's just, that's just kind of the way it goes. You have to have things already set into your computer because it has to kind of create a bond with the software, I don't know, and just kind of in order to be stable. So, okay, cool. So next we have our video sources. Cool. Let's say I want to go back and forth, right? So I have this one scene, this like video synthesizer looks kind of random, so I'm going to delete it, right? I'm going to delete my video synth. And what I can do is I can add another scene. So let's call this the video synth scene, right? And I can go between these two channels while I'm live streaming, right? So right now, my scene just looks like what it did before, right? It's here. And then I have this other one where I'm going to plug in my media. Oh, no, actually, I'm not putting in media source. I'm putting in my video source, which in the video source, you can plug in extra cameras, your webcam, Blackmagic. I'm putting a video synthesizer through a HDMI RCA converter, so you can use an old school camera. Now, it does require for you to have extra hardware, which would be a capture card. And I'll go over that. But right now, we're just kind of messing around using what we got. So we have my video synthesizer going on here. Cool. And then, so this is what everyone's seeing right over here. They're seeing me with my eyeball and my rotating hand with my webcam, my video synth. I also want to add a color source, which will just be a block of color. Let's say I want to get fancy with my text and I just want to have this like bottom, this bottom key that's like going to be able to differentiate where the text is from everything else. And I'm going to add my other text. I'm not going to rotate or roll this text. I'm just going to say, here is my synth. I love my synth, right? Honest statement right here. And cool. All right, cool. And let's say, I don't love that font. And then again, we got to scroll down to find our color. So let's do like a black. Oh, it's good. So now we can, if I want to, let's say I want to take a break, right? I'm here, I'm on my webcam, then I would transition into scene 2, and then your viewers would see this scene. Now this brings up an important point with live streaming. Let's say that you're not actually going to have any live camera when you're streaming. Let's say you're going to use OBS to stream a video piece you've already made, right? Let's say you're going to stream a work from the past or something, right? You would actually start by having a scene like this, where you could say, like, we will be live in 5 minutes, right? And let me transition that. And then we would create another scene, and that is where you would load in your media source, your video file, right? So I'm going to get an MP4 file. You could use MOV. MP4 is just lighter on your computer, so I recommend it. But if you have an MOV, that's cool too. I'm going to use this one, right? Let's say this was my movie that I'm streaming. I'm going to make sure to look through this. The speed's at 100. Show nothing when playback ends. Restart when source becomes active. This is important to have because when we are in another, we don't want this movie to just start playing right away, even though we're not ready. And unfortunately, OBS isn't like a actual a video like editing / like satellite broadcaster, you know, so it will play right after we click this file, but doesn't mean it has to air. So that way, when we're in another scene, the video file won't, it won't start 30 minutes in or however long we've had the file open, right? So this is important to have. I'm gonna loop it in case, let's say you're gonna stream at once and then, or it's something that needs to be looped. I'm just gonna loop mine, you don't need to. So it didn't pop up, right? This is a glitch that happens with OBS, it happens with a lot of softwares. It's gonna be okay. So we're going to actually load it. We're still not live, right? I'm going to load it. We're gonna see what it's gonna look like. Okay, my movie's gonna look good. So if we were gonna stream it, we would start with this key, which would be, we'll be live in 5 minutes. And maybe, you know, there's another message that's like, directors talk after movie. Stick around, right? Whatever you want your viewers to see. So that's something that I was really struggling with OBS, because I would try to do a live stream and I would put the video right away, and then because I thought it had to go, you know, just because I knew it was going to play right as soon as I loaded it to OBS. But with streams, you know, we've all kind of have come to learn that you need to get like a 3-minute buffer, you know, 5, 10, whatever, for people to actually be able to log in. So you got to make, if you can also make a, you know, a fancy Premiere file, or you can make a Photoshop file and load it right on here like we have with images. But here's one I made, you know, and I got my synthesizer, so I'll pick some colors. You can have whatever background you want. And then whenever you're ready, you would just load this right here. And then you would transition into your movie, and it would start right from the beginning, which is, you know, where this orange is out of frame. So now I have 3 scenes, right? And I can go, you know, at the end, let's say this is the director's note, right? We have our movie. Hey everyone, so glad you saw my movie, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, this is our scene functions, which is a really, really cool feature, and yeah, awesome. Okay, let me see. Okay, there's everyone, but chat works well. Okay. Okay, I'm seeing questions.
I don't think we have any new questions.
Okay, cool. It's a little overwhelming to look at all the chat, but I'm so happy everyone's here. Hi, Beth. Hi, Paul. Okay, so we're still not ready to go live, right? But we have everything set up. We know what we're doing. Now, audio is another function we're going to have to worry about, right? And I work in a television studio, and there is people dedicated to just being audio technicians for broadcasting. But tonight we're gonna be playing, you know, video and audio technician, and it'll be great. So let's cut into this scene right here. Okay, cool. So we have our audio mixer. Now, if I had a video file, right, just automatically like a media source, right, it would have its own little bar right here. As you can see, when I'm speaking with my microphone, it's coming up, and that's because I have my preferences set up to have a mic right here, the first mic, to be my mic. Now let's say I want to try using a capture device. So if you want to, let's say, capture something from a record or something, here I can show you what my setup is for capturing maybe something a little more complicated for audio-wise. Let's try this. So let me show y'all. So I have a capture card right here, and that's my pin, as you can see it. And that is usually used for gamers for capturing images off their PlayStation. These do run, you know, $90. If you're going to be doing a live stream, I really recommend you just get one of these. It will save you a lot of headaches. If you're a DJ, I really like these. And since my synthesizer is coming in an analog feed through RCA, I have a little RCA to HDMI input. And right now I just have video, but you see I have the option of putting in RCA audio. So if you have a mixer or you're a DJ, you could use something like this. And it would be a little more cost effective if you're on a budget than actually getting a audio capture card, which I believe run pretty high. Maybe you can find a used one, but this is just a setup that works for me. It's unfortunate that the more complicated audio you have, the more gear you might need. But I really like this gamer card because it just kind of does it all. It captures my video and it's easy to be recognized by OBS. Anyway, so we can put in a audio input capture here. So let's say you have a microphone. Like I have the Sony Port VX. I have this microphone right here. If I wanted to capture the audio from here, then it would be, let me see, audio capture device. Then it would be captured in through here. I don't have, since I have everything disabled, it's not gonna pop up through here. Though I did notice, see my hand, which is an MP4 file. It doesn't come with audio, but any MP4 file you bring in will get its own little barcode right here. I do recommend though, if you're trying to input audio, this feature will kind of work, but I don't prefer it. I just want to show you it. I think the best feature is, and just to memorize it, going to preferences and going to your audio sections, right? So I can get my audio channel directly from my PIN card, my built-in microphone. But yeah, if you absolutely need to hear your audio before you go live, if you want to test it, as you can see, it's a visual program, so I can see that I'm not touching any red notes or, you know, red bars. So you don't want that. That's when it gets real crunchy. Unless you want that aesthetic, that's cool too. But I can see it's green and yellow, so that sounds fine. What I'll do is sometimes I will actually just record myself and then play back the video. I can show you how to listen to your audio through OBS. It would actually just be going to Preferences, Advanced, and you would be going to, oh no, actually you'd be going to Audio and you'd going Advanced Audio. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, Advanced. And then you would click an output. I would recommend, if you're gonna just use your computer speakers, you gotta put some headphones on because you're gonna get that awful lag or like echo. And you would just click that and you could monitor your audio. I'm not gonna do it because it's gonna create an echo, but you can do that. And you can also go to, let me see, Advanced Audio Properties. And there, all your audio channels will pop up. See, I just have hand and mic. And you would be able to kind of monitor and mess around with it. But you got the visual aspect of audio, so I think that's pretty good.
We have one question. Who makes your mixer and how did you decide on that particular one?
My mixer?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't have a mixer plugged in. Are you talking about my synthesizer? I have a video card in here, which is, I guess, kind of working as a mixer. When I mentioned the mixer, I was actually talking about OBS supplementing as the actual mixer. I don't know if I was clear about that. So the controls you have here would be kind of like a mixer. See, I'm lowering the volume because I don't want my mic to, you know, give audio. Yeah.
Yes, it was the synthesizer that they were referring
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, this is a synthesizer by LZX. This is called the Vidiot. It is one of their Neo models. I believe Lars, the guy who runs the company, used to actually live here in Austin and work at Switched On, and yeah, but now they're based out of Portland. This is it's an introduction to synthesizers. I myself don't build synthesizers. There's some very talented people in town who do. But yeah, this is kind of like a beginner's synthesizer. If you ever want to come, well, after all of this, you know, after the pandemic, if you want to come hang out and synthesize, be my guest. It's so fun. And with synthesizers, you can visualize audio, and that's kind of what I've been exploring in my work. And I live stream the analog synthesizer, so that's kind of how I actually got into OBS, is because I wanted to stream my video synthesizer outside of just me in my room. So cool. Okay, so we have audio. I want to show you guys something that's a little more complicated. Strap in. This can be really beneficial to people who are streaming, who want to stream something that's maybe like I jam with my friend. During the pandemic, we just have a Zoom call, and she plugs in her sound to her Zoom call directly. And I'm able to actually capture that sound. So let's get into capturing. This will just be a 10-minute detour, but it'll do some really cool stuff. So first, let's talk about actual visual captures. So I don't have to make a new scene. So you can actually click on adding a window capture in OBS, and that would just capture your window, right? So this is my desktop. It's capturing my desktop. How about we do OBS, right? This is gonna look kind of meta, right? It's looking into all my, okay, cool, all my OBS. So I'm capturing my actual OBS card. Let's see if we can capture, I have Safari open. Let's try capturing something else. This is great if you're on a Zoom call with like a friend, and I think maybe because of the privacy settings on this Zoom call, I won't be able to capture this, but, oh, here. So I have, what is this? Okay, cool. I have a menu bar. I have stuff opened up. Let's see. Let's see if I can capture it. Okay, I'm gonna capture my OBS. That'll be good. Let's pretend this is something you want to capture, right? Cool. So you could, you know, just capture something from Google Chrome, a Zoom call, though it won't capture the sound, right? It's just gonna actually capture the visual aspect of it. Now, to capture sound, and this might be also for you DJs out there who maybe don't want to get a capture card and use Serato or Rekordbox on your computer. Or let's say you want to capture sound from a YouTube clip or from something that's playing in your computer. If you have attempted this, it sounds horrible because what's happening is the sound comes out of your computer and then it's being brought back into the mic. And obviously when we have that physical distance and the sound is traveling, you're gonna lose quality. So what we're gonna do today is, I'm gonna show you how to, I'm gonna bring my synthesizer, how to actually kind of patch sound. So we're gonna do what synthesizers do and patch it in. So in my, I'm gonna share it again. In my slideshow, I have linked a software called I Show You, just the letter U, I Show You audio capture software. And that would be another free software you could download, and it does wonderful things. What it does is actually, it'll capture the sound on your desktop into something else, and it won't have to travel outside your computer. Now, how I can demonstrate this would be, if the way I use it too, is you would go to File, or yeah, OBS, Preferences, and you would go to Audio, and then once you download I Show You, it will come up right here, and then you click OK, and as you can see, there's going to be no sound on it right now because now my mic is set off, right? So let's say I want to capture, let's see, I want to capture this Bandcamp, right? Let's say I'm going to, for some reason, I want to pretend this is my album and I'm going to stream it and listen to my new album, right? Okay, so what I would do is I would have I Show You, and it's already in my capture, and I'm going to play it. I don't know if you guys can see it. Can't really, I'm playing it off my desktop, but nothing's happening yet. So all you got to do, just do two-step process. It's going to be, if you're using a Mac, there is a application in your Mac already called Audio MIDI Setup. And it's basically where you control your microphones, you control your speakers. You don't really mess around with it, right? But what we're going to do today is we're going to actually create a multi-output device. So we're going to do that. I already did one, so it's right here. And then I'm going to make sure they're both clicked. This is my regular speaker's microphone. And I'm actually going to, this drift correction, I'm going to click it into my microphone. That's going to make sure there's no lag in it. Cool. And so that is set up. Then I'm just going to make sure to go to my system preferences. Oh, and I'm going to sound. And I'm going to make sure my output is clicked into this multi-output device. So basically what we just did is we created a patch into our computer within it where sound is going to stay in there. So now, if I click this music, it's going to be popping up on my OBS, which is cool. Now, let me see. Another thing we could do is you can actually capture audio from a Zoom call. If you guys look at your Zoom call, whenever you click on the audio section, there's a section for microphone and a section for speaker. So the way I could demonstrate this, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. And what I'm going to show you is I'm going to, my microphone, right? So if I played this song right here, it's not going to be great audio because it's coming out of my computer back into my microphone, right? But how about I click my I Show You capture? So there was a bit of a lag, but yeah, basically that is the feature of I Show You, or like that's what I like about it is that you can get crisp sound into a live stream. Okay, so we have our sound ready. We have it all ready, right? We have our video, we have our scenes. We know our sound's gonna sound great. Let's just jump into the actual live streaming part. So share my, well, first I'm gonna share you my, let's say, I'm gonna share you my, this is what I was playing, my screen. And so let's say, I'm gonna show you a quick, easy live stream way, I guess, for Facebook in case you haven't done it. All you would have to do, don't look at my password. All you would have to do is go into this section and you're gonna say a live video. And now, so some of you are using like, you know, Blackmagic and professional cameras. This is a great way to have really high quality, you know, live streaming other than, you know, your preset camera. So, oh, my connection's unstable. Okay, so we have our, I clicked on live camera, and yeah, then you're just going to get a stream key, and you would copy this, and you would copy your server. I'm going to stop sharing because your stream key is unique to you, so if anyone gets a hold of it, they can stream from your channel. So once I would copy that, then I would go into OBS, and I would go into my preferences, and I would go into my stream section. I would go into Facebook Live, Facebook Live, and then it has a default server, so you don't even have to really copy the server key. You would put in your stream key there, and then you just like start streaming, and you'd start streaming. Now, OBS also has the function of recording. It won't affect your streaming at all. I haven't found any issues. So what happens is while you're streaming, you can actually have a recording done. And once your recording's set, of course, you can go to your preferences and find the best folder. But you can also just go to, where is it? You can go to show recordings and file. It'll take you straight to where your recording is set, and then you can drag that MP4. If you are going to record, I do recommend in the beginning stages where you're putting out your stream key, where you're doing out your video, I want to make sure you look at your output. OBS has this weird format called MKV that it'll default. Just click MP4, and then, you know, it maybe won't be as high of a quality. If you have a video converter, then that works, or if you have a program that'll read it. MP4 is just a more universal streaming service, so, or a more universal video service from the streaming, so cool. I also want to address how to stream on Instagram. Is that something, I mean, I'm assuming a lot of you guys are interested in that as well. So with Instagram, we would basically do everything we've done. There is a couple of extra steps. So as you guys know, Instagram isn't in a horizontal, you know, layout. It's kind of more like what this file looks like here. So I'm going to delete these video captures. Yes, okay. So what we're gonna do is I have a preset profile. So as you stream more and more, you can create profiles, which means it'll adjust the video settings to whatever you're streaming. I have one already for Instagram. So what I do is I click it, and then I have my scenes here. Now let's see, I think I have another scene ready. This is a pretty nifty tool too. Like you can save scenes. So let's say I have a set way of streaming on Instagram. I do, so I just click that, right? And I have my Ranma, and I have 2 cameras. Now, how did I get this vertical? In that slideshow I tagged in, I put in what format it is, but essentially it's the format is the opposite of what it normally is. It's usually 16 by 9. Now we're at 9 by 16. So that's just flipping those numbers we have at the intro. It usually says 19 by 20 by 1080. You just flip those numbers, and now you have an Instagram format stream. So here I am. This is what my stream's gonna look like. Looks great. I have another scene where I have my Venmo account where I have people come in. Cool. Now, as I mentioned before, Instagram isn't actually streamable, or it technically isn't streamable by default on OBS or any other software. So what we're gonna use is a software. Let me see if I can share it with you guys. Oh yeah, right here. So what we're gonna use is this software I tagged into my presentation. It's called Yellow Duck TV. And what Yellow Duck TV does is it basically creates a stream key for you once you enter your Instagram code. It's easy as that, right? So all you have to do to stream onto Instagram is download this app. And I'm going to attempt to show you how to do exactly just that. Not the downloading, but the actual stream acts part of it. Let's see. Download, window capture. Yeah, I don't think it'll let me, because it's a tiny app. Oh, but you know what I can do? What I can do is I can actually show you through this is a camera on my iPhone that I'm using, which I'll show you how to do that as well. But on this camera, I'll show you this is what the software looks like. So all you do is click that, then you get a login to Instagram. And once you log in, it gives you a stream key. And then I would just go to, so let's just do it. Let's go live, guys. So I'm going to put in my password. Let's see, while I'm logging in, I'm gonna answer Elliot's question, which is, I've had issues with major lag latency and frame rate once when streamings begin OBS with no other software choking the CPU. What might I be doing wrong? Thanks for your question, Elliot. So what you could do, and what I'm assuming is you get a message that says, here in the bottom section, there'll be a message that says like, CPU is about to fry. And you know, I'm paraphrasing, but it basically says that. I've definitely gotten that message before too. What you could do is for your preferences, what I'm suspecting it might be too, is for your video, I would go down to 1280 by 720, and you gotta make sure these two match. If these two aren't matching, it's going to give you a lot of trouble. And what we also have in our preferences, we have the encoder here. If you have a hard drive, you can put in another section will come in, and you can put in the hard drive to be taking up that processing. So that might be two things that help. And then, I can't think of any preferences right now that but just doing those two have really helped me. So anyway, we got our stream key right here. Cool, Yellow Duck. Let me see. Oh wait, yeah, you can see it, right? We got our stream key, yellow duck. You got my name right there. All right. And so I would just copy this RTM URL right here. It says copied. Then I would go to File. I would go to, oh, sorry, Preferences. And I would go to Stream. I would copy it right here and I would paste it. And then I would grab that other stream key. I'm not going to show you guys what it is. You want to keep that private. If there's anything to be kept private, it is your stream key. We're going to click OK.
Hey, Natalia, we can't see what you're, are you showing us? Are you screen sharing or are you just walking us through it?
I'm just walking you through it. I have.
That's what I thought.
Okay. Oh, wait, actually, I have a, let me show you. I have a OBS camera. I have a separate camera I can show you guys right here. So this is what it looks like. This is so me recording my screen, but yeah, this is what the software looks like. This is where the key will come out. I'm unable to screen share the software, but this is essentially, yeah, what you're looking at. It's just like Facebook where you're getting a stream key. And then I would just go to my file preferences and I'm going to my stream key. I put in my Instagram server key, my stream key. I click OK, and I can just start streaming, start recording, and there you would be. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm live right now with this this 5-minute or at least couple of minutes of the workshop. So that's basically how you stream on Instagram. It takes a couple of more steps, but you also just get a better quality than what you would get in just using your camera. And you can also have the added function of having a Venmo, you know, put in. And if you're DJing, you can have a camera pointed at your face and one at your actual setup. I'm going to stop the recording. So, yeah.
We have a couple more questions. Paul is asking how you would stream to YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram simultaneously.
Okay, great question, Paul. So that would be outsourced to another like web page. There's, I think it's called like multi-stream or something. But to do something like that, you will have to pay a probably like a monthly fee of $10. I think they go by subscription. OBS does a one server key, one section, because I mean, essentially what we're doing is why like television stations work, right? It's because they own the satellite transmitters that are able to get so many channels. This is just kind of a like slice of what that is. But yeah, you can do that. It just will cost you a little bit more money than just like free software. But yeah, it is done through a third party. You can't do it through OBS, sadly, because it's just very basic and just getting one key. So cool.
A follow-up, Peggy saying Restream does that as a third-party source to be able to do that. And then Paul saying, do you know the time limit for Instagram streams or Facebook or YouTube?
Yes. So for Facebook and YouTube, I think you can really push it with the limit. I haven't seen a limit, you know, past like, I don't know, you could probably stream for 5 hours, or, you know, it's not really limited. They will stop your stream if you use any copyrighted music. They're really sensitive towards that. So I would advise not to use any copyrighted music because then they will shut down your live stream. But if you're doing original music or you're just talking, you can go on for a really long time. Instagram, there is a 60-minute limit, and they're very, or, you know, because you're not supposed to use it or whatever. I think after 60 minutes, the stream key will disintegrate because, I don't know, it just is. But yeah, there's a 60-minute limit on Instagram. Everything else seems to be a longer bandwidth. And Twitch, of course, has, I don't even know if they have a limit. It's just kind of however long you want to be on Twitch.
One more, can you compare OBS to vMix? Would you use both at the same time?
I think if you're trying to stream, I think if you're trying to stream like Facebook and YouTube from your computer and not pay for that third website or third party streamer, sorry, then yeah, you could probably do that. I have stuck to OBS. I haven't paid for any software, so I haven't used that software, but I think if you have enough RAM and a good graphics card, you could be able to do it. You technically could download the older version of OBS and this newer one and have 2 streams going at once. But that would just be depending on your computer's ability, because yeah, you know, it might just create a lag if it's too much for it to process. Yeah, I think this is, I think I've shown you as much as I could, or as I wrote down that would be tangible in an hour. I know that was a lot of information coming your way, but I hope this is something that you can use and it can improve your live streams. I really love seeing people go live, and I think the great aspect of it too is that even if someone isn't live there with you, they can watch it later on. And with the recording feature on OBS, it's a great way to just make like videos or short films in live time.
Okay, great. Do we want to go ahead and promote people to panelists at this point and have people ask their own questions if there are any?
Oh, yes. And before we do that, or one last note, there is an app for your phone called OBS Camera, which was what I was using today. And that one, it costs $15, but you download it and plug in your camera into your computer, just like you would as if it were charging. And it works as an extra camera in your computer. So if you're doing a live stream and you need 2 cameras and you don't want to invest in another camera, you can just download this app and use your phone or your iPad, and you have already 2 cameras with you, which is super awesome. And I have that in the slideshow as well. That one, kind of like what the Blackmagic camera question we had earlier, it just requires you to download a plugin for OBS, just like any camera would with any software. They require you to download a plugin. But yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Peggy says, thank you. Or Sadie says, thank you. This is so good. Peggy says, looking forward to the recording so I can pause and soak it in more slowly. And I feel the same way. I'm like, I knew nothing. So I came to this, I feel like I've already learned a lot. And it was really cool to see like creating art. It was like magic. It just happened so quickly. Let's see. Thanks. It helped me to wrap my head around the potential of OBS. People are asking about, sorry, this video's going crazy, about sharing the slideshow. I think some people were having trouble accessing the slideshow.
Okay, yeah, let me share it. Let me get the link again and share it. It just has the links to actually, to the download, or to download Yellow Duck, which is that Instagram app, and I Show You, which are both free. And it also just kind of goes through what video capture card I have that you could buy too if you use like a synthesizer or an RCA input. So yeah, I think I just shared it again. Let me.
Yeah, and that was easy for me to just click on that and see all those slides. So if people just click on that, they should be able to see everything. I'm gonna go ahead and start promoting people to panelists so that they can turn their video on. So just be prepared for that, everyone.
Oh, I see Elliot's question. Could not access the specific channel or stream queue. Please double check your queue. Okay, I would just make sure you have it on custom. Make sure you copy everything just as it is. Sometimes one number off will give an error. So just give it a try again and make sure you copy the server key and the stream key separately because they're two different number serials. So it might just be that. It you know, it usually works for me. And yeah. Hi, April.
There's so many people. This is great. Okay. Still working my way through the list. But if anybody, I think that at this point you could unmute yourself if you have a question, if you have already been promoted. And please keep yourself on mute if you aren't speaking, which is obviously everyone right now. Okay. I think that that's everyone. Oh, how great. This is so nice to see you all. Don't mean to put you on the spot. If you don't want to turn your video on, you don't have to. I have all non-video participants hidden, so that way we can just see the people that are on video. Hi, guys. Okay, let's see. Natalia linked out her info, which is great. Peggy said she didn't see the slides, but I think we already addressed that. We should all know how to access that at this point. Yeah, it was sort of hard to kind of go back and forth between the slides and the and just following what Natalia was doing. So check out the slides after this. Do you have a regular show, podcast, website, Natalia, that you could talk about?
I just have my Instagram and my webpage. I don't have a regular show. I'm kind of sporadic. But thanks for the question, Paul.
Can you talk about, I don't know if you can, but which television station you work at and more about that role?
Yeah, I work at Spectrum News Austin, downtown, and I'm a part-time video technician. I've been there for a little bit like half a year or something. And yeah, I usually work with satellite feeds, but because of COVID, I've had to wrap my head around capturing like live feeds, and it's kind of crazy to think like televisions are just airing like Zoom calls and stuff, which was totally like a no-no before, and now it's like what we will deal with. So yeah, and I love working at Spectrum. They're a really good TV station.
Cool. I like your shirt, April. Yeah, I know someone who works at Fox News, and she has been doing her like broadcasts from home. Sheridan says, yes, queer women of color in broadcasting.
Yes.
Let's see. And y'all can, April, do you have a question?
No, I just wanted to say I just happen to be wearing it for 2 days now, so haven't taken a shower.
We're all on the same boat. It's cool.
Yeah, so I guess like what I thought was maybe we can just kind of open up about what you're doing or why you're wanting to broadcast, or what people's mediums are, and kind of have a discussion too. And if you have any additional questions, I know there was a question about any good YouTube videos for OBS. You can just ask a specific question to YouTube and you will probably get an answer, but it's mostly used for gaming. So that's why I thought doing this workshop would be kind of cool, because I basically had to watch a bunch of gaming videos when I don't know the first thing about gaming. But yeah, if you have a very specific question, you can probably find a gamer answering it on YouTube.
I have a question. So I'm going to be doing a presentation where we're going to do like a live conference. We're going to hopefully be able to do it live in June and maybe have 20 people there. But we also want to live stream it for those who don't feel comfortable coming or can't make it. My main question is audio. What's the best way to mic the speakers? Like if say they're at the front of a room and we don't have the camera too close to them or the computer that we're using as the camera, what's the best way to get their audio? Do we set up a microphone and a PA system and then use that?
So your question is how to ensure there's like no echo in the Zoom call from each individual participant, or the best way for the audio for the live stream?
I think the best way for the live stream.
Okay. I would say can I ask, is it going to be through like a Zoom conference with 20 people?
I don't know. We haven't decided yet.
Okay.
Still trying to figure out the best way. Okay.
So what I would do is that audio software I show you, I would, on OBS, I would do a video capture of the Zoom chat, just kind of what we're looking at right now. And on Zoom, for the microphone section you see at the bottom, you see that says select microphone, and then underneath it says select a speaker. I would select the I show you audio capture and then have that be the audio in the stream. And that way, there is no chance of echoes or audio malfunctions because the audio is being fed directly into OBS.
Okay.
And if you did like a Google Hangout or something like that, you can do the video capture there too. Audio is really tricky. And so, yeah, I mean, it took me, I've been live streaming from like my jam band with my friend Janelle, and she's actually the one who showed me how to properly capture audio because it was sounding so terrible. But really, yeah, just downloading that plugin allows you to capture all the sound in your desktop and feed it into something rather than, yeah, like a microphone capturing it from your computer into it. And I linked it into that slide. It has easy instructions on downloading it. And I went through it in the presentation, but that's something you can always find on YouTube if you need extra notes. It's, you know, not unique to me. There's a lot of people using it out there. And there's actually softwares you can pay. If you have a budget, there's easier softwares you can pay for to do audio capturing it. I'm just showing you a free one that free softwares tend to be a little more, you know, Mod Podge, but there's more user-friendly ones that you could pay for, so.
Anybody else ideas about live streaming or things that they've been considering with their art practice? I know we were talking to developers about just thinking about the studio tours, and live streaming was a big part of the conversation as far as creating a connection and being able to share process, which is a big part of what we do. So anyone thinking about this have questions for Natalia?
I had an observation.
Yeah, go for it.
Goes on for about 2 to 3 hours every morning. It's been going on for about a month, and it's made up of the 50 or so top audio people, video people, filmmakers, and so on in the world. And it goes on for like 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours. And it's very worthwhile if you want to learn about a whole lot. It's a Facebook stream. You can get a link to it, or I can post a link here.
Some of that was breaking up for me. I don't know if it was for everyone, but yeah, Paul, if you could put the link in the chat, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the chat. There we go.
I think I have another I guess, thing too. If you guys are doing a lot of like Zoom calls and you want to spice it up or have, you know, kind of a really high def video device, and you, like I linked below, you have a capture card. I can show you, you can actually also, like I'm using my video synthesizer now as my card, right? But you could actually, you know, put in a camera or something, and that could be what you're putting in through Zoom. So yeah, if you're thinking about investing in equipment, I think a capture card is probably the best thing, because it's great for live streaming, but then, you know, you can do fun stuff and cool, weird stuff with your Zoom calls or whatever. So.
Let's see. Okay, Sheridan just says she has to hop off. No questions, but lots of appreciation for this training.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you to everyone there's so many people on this stream. And I see so many familiar faces and artists that it's amazing to see y'all here. I hope you guys do some cool streaming too from this.
Yeah, I think that this is an exciting thing that a lot of people are seeing sort of the silver lining, for lack of a better term, in this situation, that we can learn new things and experiment and find new ways to present our art practice. So I'm excited to learn more about this. This was like a lot for me. I'm not like super tech savvy. Like I said, it took me a while to even get this background for my video. So I'm really grateful. Fabian says, you blow my mind. Oh, no, that's Misa.
Thank you, Fabian and Lisa. Yeah, apologies if I went fast at all. In my head, I was like, this is stuff everybody knows, so why don't I just glaze over it? But yeah, I hope I was able to communicate slowly and thoroughly to everyone.
And I mean, having a lot of us, I assume, are visual people like myself, and being able to have the screen share and see where you were going, I think really helps it stick. Hannah says, great presentation. Yeah, and this video will be available online, like all our other workshops and coffee chats. We will put this on our website, and you can follow the Creative Standard page for future workshops and presentations. So yeah, I mean, we have 10 more minutes left, but I think it's okay if we cut it short, unless anybody has any other questions. All right. Well, gonna sign off then. Thank you so much, Natalia, and everyone for coming.
Thank you so much for coming. Thanks, Lena. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Belinda, Janelle, Sadie, Natalia, Alana, Cheryl, Beth, Jesus, Fabian, Gabriella. I can't read your name, the gentleman with the headgear, Chris.
Oh,
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, TJ, yeah.
Thanks, TJ.
Awesome. Okay, I now have to leave on my phone. All right.